Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to thank you so much for such a wonderful conversation on our discussion board this week. I very much enjoyed reading both your introductions and also your conversation about the text. And I want to especially thank you for engaging so thoughtfully with each other. One of the concerns that comes up in online learning is how we might create community and really engage in a dialogue with each other. And you all have shown me that that's not only possible, but that there's an incredible richness when it happens online. So I want to thank you. It was really wonderful, and I learned a tremendous amount. So I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about this week's readings. I'm hoping that this week's reading will provide an overview and a little bit of background about our topic. They're a little disparate, but I think that they're important for us to think about some of the topics that they bring up, and they'll help form our conversations for later. So we'll be thinking this week about the changing landscape of Jewish identity. We'll be highlighting some of the challenges that are inherent in the school-family conversations and partnerships. We'll be talking a little bit about how we might define families. We're talking about creating school-family connections, but the idea of how we define families has changed as we move from the 20th to the 21st century. So all of those things will be inherent in our conversations. I'm sorry, and then last of all, we'll be talking about some ethical guidelines when we talk about educators engaging with families. There's so much to talk about, but I want to keep this short. So I'm just going to point out a couple of things that have struck me in reading some of our texts this week. The first one is looking at the Pew Study and thinking about the articles that I read when it first came out, and how many of the articles were bemoaning the lack of engagement by Jewish families, as reflected in the Pew Study. And I think part of this reflects the increasing secularization of Jews in the United States, and this also reflects how secular Americans are becoming in general in the United States. And that clearly has become a concern for many Jewish organizations and is very much a challenge for Jewish educators. One of the responses has been for the larger institutions to kind of double down on what we've already done in the hopes of increasing engagement with Jewish families. And I think that so far that has had limited success, and I want to point to just one reason that may be true. I think that many of our 20th century institutions have had a fee-for-service model. That is, members pay a fee and then receive services. In our case, it's mostly they pay a fee and they get their educational needs met, we hope, or their children's educational needs met. Experts provide the knowledge and the skills and the know-how to them. So I think what's changing in the 21st century is that people are increasingly refusing to consume what is produced for them. That instead they're insisting that they be part of a collaborative process where they be part of the production in which they consume, on which they consume. So in the 21st century, our institutions are being pressured to be increasingly flexible. Members are insisting that they participate in creating their experiences and that power be shared. One of the metaphors that I think about when I try to make this concrete is the idea of Spotify or Pandora, or even buying a single song for 99 cents off of iTunes. That is, few of us, especially younger people, are buying whole albums, but instead we're creating our own playlists. We're insisting that what we listen to is being created by us. And so I think that our institutions need to respond to this new way of thinking about consuming products. So what's the fix? It's incredibly complicated. I love that Paula brought up Relational Judaism, the book Relational Judaism, and Diego brought up Never Eat Alone, because both of these books address at least partially some of these issues, in that they insist that that we need to listen carefully, we need to work collaboratively, and we need to create shared experiences. And that there is a shift in power when those things happen. Now, I know this is easier said than done. I know that I'm telling you that so many families want to co-create their children's educational experiences, and yet in reality, what happens? We rarely see parents. They come in for drop-off, their child goes into the classroom and they're zooming off in order to get to work or their other responsibilities, and simply finding time to check in, forget trying to co-create an educational experience feels impossible. And so this is what we're going to be talking about this semester, how to make this happen, because I think the desire increasingly is there. One of the challenges is how to do it successfully. So I'm really looking forward to these conversations. I'm interested in finding out your experiences. I'm interested in hearing from you also about how we define families and how that's changed in the 21st century, and about some of the ethical guidelines that are brought up in one of our readings, and how you all respond to that as well. So have a good week. I look forward to hearing from you. Please check out, we're going to be changing the way our discussion board works this week, experimenting with something new. So please make sure to read that carefully as well. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.